Good day, my dears. So, this rainy season, you need to be very careful. Right, let it be. We'll move on to our next grammar section, that is conditional clause. Right, our next grammar section is conditional clause. In 10th standard, you would have read much in detail about this conditional clause, but let us have a recall about the conditional clause that you have known already. Right. Okay, fine. So, if you see conditional clause means there are so basically we should learn about first what is class, right? You should know what is class, right? What is a class? I think you know very well. Class, it is a group of words which gives some meaning, that we call it as a class. So if you see class, the class is further divided into two types. One is, we call it as main class, right? One we call it as main class, that is MC, and another one it is, that is subordinate class, that is we call it as SC, subordinate class. Okay, so one is main class and subordinate class. So if you see, you should by looking at the sentence itself, we should know what is a main class and what is a subordinate class, right? Okay, what is a main class first? So a main class, it is a group of group of words which gives a complete meaning, right? Which gives a complete meaning. Okay, right? And subordinate class, what is subordinate class then? So subordinate class, it is the meaning will be right hanging, right? Otherwise you can call it as incomplete, right? You can call it as incomplete. So what is a main class? A main class, it is a complete meaning. The main class carries a or gives a complete meaning, whereas this is subordinate class will gives you only half. That means the meaning will not get completed. So that we call it as subordinate class and main class. And you may have a doubt whether the main class comes first or the subordinate class come first. Nothing like that. In some sentences, main class will occupy the first position and subordinate class will occupy the second position. But in some cases, right, the subordinate class will come to the first position and the main class will go to the second position. So there is no restriction that main class has to come front or the subordinate has to come at the back. Nothing like that. So it can change, right? The position main class, otherwise subordinate class, or subordinate class, otherwise main class. In such a way the sentence may come, right? Okay. So this conditional class, we have four types. We have four types. Okay, what are they? First condition, it is probable condition. First one is probable condition. Second one is improbable condition. Second one is improbable condition. First one is probable, second one is improbable, and third one it is impossible condition. The first condition is probable condition, second one is improbable condition, and third one is impossible condition. And what is the last condition you have? Right, the last condition we call it as zero condition. Right, the last condition we call it as zero condition. What is the zero condition? We will move on. We will see when the time comes. Right, fine. Let me explain the conditional class with examples. Right, so whatever it has, whatever the mathematic problems, they have a small thing which help them to solve the problems, that we call as formula. Same way in language, right? In English also, you may think that whether English also carries some formula. Yes, of course, right? So in condition class, if you see that degrees of comparison or what is it called, report the dialogue or transformation, right? Synthesis of sentences or active voice, passive voice, or whatever it is, a formula which has, right? Same way here, the condition class also has some formulas for all the three conditions, right? If you see the first condition, that is probable condition. So in probable condition, you have what is the formula for this, right? So the sentence will begin with condition class means, right, if you do it, this will happen. If you do not do this, definitely it will not happen. This we call it as condition class, right? So the condition class will basically begin with the if, right? If means what? It is a condition, right? You have to do. If you fail to do, that is said to be condition, right? So all the condition class will begin with the first word, that is if, right? Okay. So how will you identify the sentence it is given in the probable condition or improbable or impossible or zero condition. It is very easy, right? You have to identify certain words and certain tenses, right? If you identify certain tenses and certain words, you can easily find out the given sentence it is given in probable or improbable or impossible, right? Fine. Okay, so first probable condition, we will move on to the probable condition. So the probable condition, as I told you already, that will begins with the if, right, and present tense, right? So this is a breakage, right? This we call it as if if a sentence begins with if, that is said to be subordinate clause, right? So the subordinate clause, if you come across the verb, if it is in the present tense, and definitely you will come across, right, this model, right, or this be form verb in the main class, right? So if plus present tense means you will come across the word will in the main class, right? Okay, fine. So the second condition, it is improbable condition. So improbable condition carries two different types, right? One is the sentence may begin with if plus past tense, if plus past tense, or if plus where. So one is if plus past tense, otherwise the sentence may come if plus where, W-E-R-E, not W-H-E-R-E, right? It is W-E-R-E. So if you come across if plus past tense or if plus where in the subordinate class, right, in the subordinate class, then you will come across two words. One is would in the main form, right? In the main class, you will come across would plus present form of the verb, right? This is very, very important. You have to use the present form of the verb, right? Sir, here it is past tense, so we should use past tense. Nothing like that. If it is past tense, you have to use present form of the verb, right? But you should use this model would. Then you have to use the would and you have to go for the present form of the verb. Fine, right? And what is the last one that we have? It is condition 3, that is impossible condition. This may not happen, this cannot, right? This will not happen, but still you are imagining. That's we call that, why we call it as impossible condition. That is improbable means, there may be some, there may be some chances to the things may happen, right? Okay, impossible condition. So how will you identify the impossible condition? Is the sentence will begin with the if and the clue word is had and then ppv. What is this ppv? The third form of the degree, right? Take for example, speak, it is present tense. Spoke, it is past tense. Spoken, the third form, no, that we call it as ppv. Got it, my dears? So the speak, it is present tense. Spoke, it is past tense. And spoken, the third form of the word is no, that we call it as the ppv, right? Past participle. Write, wrote, written, the third form, no, that we call it as ppv. So if you come across the sentence begins with if plus had plus ppv, then in the main class you will come across two things. One is would have plus ppv, right? Would have plus ppv. Got it, my dear? The sentence in main class would have plus ppv will come, right? So let me move on to the examples, right? We'll move to the examples. Before that, I'll just tell you once again the formulas. So condition 1 carries if plus present tense means you will come across the word that is will in the main class. So if plus past tense or if plus where in the subordinate class, then you will come across would plus present form of the verb in the main class. Or if plus had plus ppv in the subordinate class, you will come across would have plus ppv in the main class. Right? These are the formulas. Fine. Okay, right. We'll move on to the examples. Right. Right. What is the first example we will see? If you study well, you will pass. If you study well, you will pass. So if you see, if you study well, you will pass, you have to identify first of all certain words. This is if, this is condition, you, that is subject, right? And what is the verb here? Study is the verb. So the study is the verb, comes in present or past tense. The verb, right, in this sentence acts as present tense. So if plus present tense, if plus present tense, that means you will come across will in the main class. That's why will. Okay. So in exam pattern, how they may ask, in such a way they will give. If you study will, comma, you dash in bracket pass. In such a way they will give, right? So if plus present and study it is given, so what you have to write? You have to use will. If you write will alone, it is completely wrong. So how you have to write? You will pass. In such a way, you have to take the word out of from the bracket and you have to write the answer. Right? Okay, fine. If you run fast, you will get a medal. If plus present tense, right? Run, then will, you will get a medal. Third one, if you score high marks, score, then mean you will join. Right? In such a way, the first condition it comes, right? We'll move on to the second one, right? If I won 1 crore rupee, I would donate to the poor. See, if condition, I subject. What is the verb here? One. What is the present form of this one? When. Right? When. So one, it is given in the past tense. So if plus past tense means you have to use would. That's why we have used if plus I would donate. Donate, it is the verb that you have written in the present form of the. That's why I have written present form of the verb you have to use, right? I would donate to the poor. Right? If I were the president, this is improbable condition. See, is it possible that we will earn 1 crore rupees? Never, right? If we will whether will become a president? No, never. That's why it is improbable condition, right? If I were, that's why I told you if plus were. Then in the main class you have to use would plus present form of the verb abolish, right? And if I had a typewriter, listen here, you will make a mistake here. A lot of children, they will make a mistake here. Definitely, as soon as if they come across the word had, then they will think about it is the sentence is in the third condition. Nothing like that. See, here also had is come, had is there, but still you have to identify whether the verb it is given or not, whether the verb it is in the PPV. You just think about the typewriter, it is the verb? No. So the main verb it comes in the B form verb, right? That's why this is in the second type. In the exam also, one time in public they have made a mistake over here, right? So you have to be very careful. If I had, they'll confuse you by giving the such kind of sentence, right? If I had means it is in the second type. Whether the given verb, if any given verb it is there, that is there in the PPV, then it comes under the third type. Until then it is second type. If I had a typewriter, I wouldn't type it, right? Okay, fine. If he had given his address, now here just see, if then subject, then had, here given, the verb it is given here, give, gave, given, give, gave, given. So here the verb it is given, but here if you see no verb it is there, that's why this comes under the second type. But here the had it is given, perfect tense had given, and moreover and PPV is also given. That's why we have used I would have visited. Visited, that is also in the PPV, right? How? Visit, visited, visited. So third form you have to write. Second sentence, if you had studied well, you would have passed. If you had then studied, had plus PPV, then would have plus PPV, would have passed. And third one, if you had arrived 10 minutes earlier, you had arrived, had plus PPV. See, listen here, had plus PPV, then would have plus PPV, right? Would have plus PPV means what? Would have got, got, right? Got a seat, right, children? Once again, I'll explain you in the next page, right? Fine. And we'll move on to the last thing, that is called a zero condition. What is a zero condition? Zero condition means refer to the scientific fact or universal truth. Refers to the scientific fact or universal truth. Take for example, the earth rotates, right? The earth rotates, or the sun rises in the east. This is scientific fact. The sun rises, universal fact, universal truth. The sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Scientific fact. What is the scientific fact? If you heat or if you boil the water, definitely what? If you heat the ice, it melts. So in such a way, if it becomes means you have to use there is no change, right? Here also present tense, in the main class also you have to use the present tense. In subordinate class also in the present tense, and the main class also in present tense, right? We will see next example. If you heat ice, definitely what will happen, it melts. It is a what a scientific fact, right? If you hold the ice in your palms, definitely what it melts. We should not say it will melt, no, nothing like that, it melts. Same way, if you stand in rain, definitely what we get wet, right? It is a what a universal truth. If you stand in rain without having an umbrella, if you stand in the rain, definitely you should not say I will get wet, but rather you should say I get wet. Such a way you have to use. Here we should not use what I will get it, or I will, it will melt. Don't use it will melt, otherwise same way, if you if you know, if the glass falls, if the glass, glass, not a class, right? Glass, if the glass falls, what it breaks, definitely what it breaks. Don't say that sir it is a tempered glass, no, it's unbreakable glass, no, nothing like that. In refrigerator nowadays you can see the glass, in the racks, in refrigerator, I mean hard glass, they, they are using the hard glass. Even if it if you drop the ice from 2 or 3 feet, it will never break. Unbreakable glasses, we call that unbreakable glasses. So don't think that in such a way, don't think say that is this unbreakable glass, no, like nothing like that. What if you fall, if it if the glass falls, it breaks. You should not say it will break, you should not say it will break, it breaks. In such a way only you have to say, right? Once again we will see how in the exam pattern the questions will come, right? Okay, from here we will see the examples, right? If you run fast, you get a medal. See, if you run fast, comma, you dash, in bracket they will get a medal. Such a way they will give. So how you have to write? You have to go through the main subordinate class, the verb it is in the present tense. So present tense means you will use the will, right? So how you have to write? Will what? Get. Otherwise, in another way also they may ask, see how it is, if you study well you will pass. If you dash study well, you will pass. In exam pattern, in this way also they may ask, right? So how it is? You will pass. So you will means what? This is in the first condition, right? So first condition means why, how we have to find the first condition? Because will it is there. So in the main class, simple present you have to use. So if you study well, you will pass. In exam pattern, in this way also they may ask, right? Okay, improbable condition. If I were a butterfly, if I were a butterfly, comma, I, in bracket, in such a way they will ask, I dash fly. So I, if plus where, that means if plus past tense means you have to use would. So what is the verb here? Fly. You have to use the present form of the verb, that is I would fly, right? And third example it is, if he had arrived earlier, comma, he dash get a seat. So if plus had plus ppv, if plus had plus ppv, see, if plus had plus ppv, that means in the main class you have to use would plus have plus pp, then he would have got, he would have got a seat, right children? So this is what the condition class. Okay, fine. So these are the things, important things in the condition class, right? So revise this once again. If you have any doubt, let me by it WhatsApp text, right? So take care, be safe, see you in the next class, children. Bye bye.